One of humanity's biggest failings is our movement to always divide up into factions, to create tribes, in groups, out groups. And it's no different in Christianity or any other faith. That is our default. And we move towards that, and we move towards that. And the challenge is, how do you pull back from that? One of the clearest examples in the early Christian church was from the Council of Jerusalem, which was in Acts 15, 1 through 35. And this started because preachers from Judea had come into where Paul and Barnabas were preaching. And these preachers began to instruct that no one could be saved unless they are circumcised and observed Mosaic law. And this was coming from what was happening in Jerusalem, what was being taught by Christians in Jerusalem at the time. So Paul and Barnabas go to Jerusalem and meet with Peter, James the Just, who's the stepbrother of Jesus and leading the Christians in Jerusalem at the time. And they have this big meeting, and it's a huge, important debate that altered the course of Christianity. But what was interesting was not so much what they got right, which was to undo a lot of the barriers, allowing people to become Christians, but what they still got wrong. At the end of the Council of Jerusalem, they said that the important things that people should not do was to avoid pollution from idols, unlawful marriages, the meat of strangled animals, and blood. Nobody, even in the paragraphs after that, is saying that Christians need to avoid the meat of strangled animals and blood. So I think it's really important to realize that these were barriers that were created by the politics of the time, by the belief of the time. And the reality was, if the Christians in Jerusalem did not follow Mosaic law, that community was going to be massacred. Everybody was fighting in Jerusalem. It was incredibly difficult and incredibly hard. So there was a reason they created these rules, but they didn't stand up. They weren't consistent. They weren't something that you could build a faith upon. And that's a reason to go back to what we talked about before. What are the simple rules? What are the simple internal rules that you can adopt? It's Mark 12, 30 through 31. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. Those two rules, those two requirements, loving God with all your heart, soul, and everything you have, and loving your neighbor as yourself. That's the test. That's the rules. That's what we need to comply with. And when we build anything else above or beyond that, we're falling into tribalism, in groups, out groups, or the politics of the day. And there is nothing deep and powerful and strong about that. Factionalism is weakness. And we want a religion of strength and unity and solidarity with what came before us and with what will come afterwards. Thank you.